Joining me right now, back on the show, top 10 ranked UFC flyweight, Dustin Ortiz. What's going on, Dustin? Welcome back.
Steady chopping. I appreciate it. It's good to be back, man. I'm always around, but it's nice to be back with you.
How is the summer treating you? I know it's hot out there.
It's beautiful here in the Bay Area. It's always a calm breeze. It's like, you know, even on the hottest day, you go out for a run and you just feel that cool breeze passing through, man. So the summertime is passing by at a nice breezy feel right now. It's beautiful out here.
Are you more of a summer person, or do you like the winters better?
Man, I'm a summer person for sure. It's just there's nothing better than having the sun beat down on you, shirt off. Just there's something about the summer that brings that carefree feel. It's almost like vacation all the time. And winter, I have a appreciation for it, but I've spent too many of them in snow, so I'm not a huge fan of it. I prefer the summer for sure.
You're out in California. You said Bay Area. You train out there at CSA. This is your 5th camp. What is it out there that you love?
You know, I think it's just being out here. Being out here, like you said, it's something is bringing me back, which means that I'm leaving, and being able to do that, I don't think a lot of people get that opportunity, and I'm very thankful for that. Early in my career, I straight up picked up everything that I had and I made that move to one gym, and I just dedicated everything to that, and I left family and friends and everything back home. And I think that was all too much for one, all at once. And now I've realized that, okay, I can still live somewhere and train and get after it with good training partners, good coaches, and then go somewhere else and kind of dial it in to a certain person, to a certain opponent. So while I'm back in Tennessee, I'm training constantly with different people, and then I get to leave all that home, all the family and friends. I get to leave it and it's taken care of, and I get to just solely focus on training. And I think that's been a huge benefit to me and my career. And I'm out here and I'm just, fight focused. There's no distractions because I know everything is taken care of back home. And I think that's what, has continually brought me back here, that, and there's undeniably some of the best striking coaches and fighters at the gym that I'm at, and training partners, and the way that we connect is more than just with our fist and our hands and grappling. We connect with our mind and our movement, and a lot of them have really kind of broken through with the way that I think, and that's helped me out, and it's brought me back time and time again. So
you're also getting workout at AKA. It must be a great balance of getting your striking at CSA and then going out to AKA and getting your wrestling in over there. Who have you been working with at that gym?
Well, both gyms, man. Both gyms have amazing, like you said, it's a variety of strikers. At CSA, they offer the highest level of striking that you can get here in the States. And then, DC, they're labeling him as the GOAT now. So he's the wrestling coach out there at AKA, and they have bunches out there as well. He's a 135er, and he runs practice when DC's away, and they got all kinds of wrestlers, and they're known for their bigger guys, but man, they got some little dudes in there that we get in there and we scrap it out. A lot of up and comers as well, 25ers, 35ers. So you just have to check out their camp, and there you'll see them, man. I don't know all their names and right off the top of my head, but look them up at AKA, and they're right there, man. They're putting in the work just like all the rest of them, and soon to be a lot of champions out of both gyms.
When you go to these super camps like CSA and AKA, you got guys from all over the world. You don't know who they are. You don't know that, like you said, it's hard to remember their names. But is it good for you to go there since you can't relax? You know that everybody's so high level, even though you don't know who they are.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing. You want to be relaxed when it's most intense. You know what I mean? And you got to put yourself in those intense environments, and I get nervous still for practice. You know what I mean? And that's something where guys don't experience very often because they're with the same training partners day in and day out, and then they get a feel for each training partner, what they're going to do. Okay, this guy doesn't go hard, so he knows that he can kind of flow with this guy. And this guy goes a little bit harder, so I'm going to sit out instead of going with him, I'm just going with everybody, so I never know what I'm going to get. And especially if there's some new guys I've never seen at AKA or at CSA, they come in. I don't know these guys and I don't know their flow. So it allows me to just kind of do what I do. And then that's the ultimate figuring out process, because when you're in a fight, you've seen this person fight, but you've never fought with them. So you get to experience what they're going to do and their experience what you're doing as well. So it's an amazing thing to go into practice and never know truly what you're going to get out of it, and always have that little nervous, like, okay, I don't know this guy, like what's about to happen. And you kind of bring it to him and he brings it to you, and then you're like, that's a good training partner right there. It makes it exciting. It makes it fun. It keeps you on your toes at all times. And that's what I love about, the sport of mixed martial arts and the lifestyle that has chosen me, that I've stuck with.
I saw that you also made a trip up to Canada recently and got some training in out there. What were you doing out there? Were you helping somebody in camp or?
Yeah. Yoni Sherbatov. He's actually fighting, I believe, the 20th of this month as well. So I've been up there a couple of times to help him out for a couple of different fights and camps and stuff like that. Very good team they got going up there. And it seems like I've always just kind of been drawn back there from time to time. I'm not sure what it is, but Toronto fighting Zach Makovsky, and then helping Yoni get ready for Zach Makovsky as well, and a couple of his other fights. And now I'm fighting back there July 28th. So I don't know, man. The snow, like you were talking about earlier, just keeps pulling me back. I just keep on, California every chance I get. Tennessee is beautiful, right? It's beautiful there right now as well. So, but yeah, that's what I was doing up there, helping another fighter get ready for his fight.
Speaking of Canada, you got to go back there on July 28th. You're facing Matheus Nicolau. This guy, he's a top-ranked guy. He's a little bit below you on the rankings, but he's beaten some big names, so he, demands respect, I believe. But one asterisk he has is that he was suspended by USADA for testing positive for banned substances. When you heard his name, were you kind of hesitant to take the bout, or do you not care about his past?
I can't judge anybody for their past, man. I really can't. I didn't think about it. I just, we got the name, and it's like, okay, yeah, let's do it for sure. I'm not gonna turn down anybody. I'm not gonna do anything out of what I wouldn't do for anybody else, if that makes sense. So I'm focused on me. I train very, very hard. So you can take all the drugs that you want. That's not going to stop me from doing what I do, and training as hard as I train to beat the guys that have cheated and taken substances and all this other stuff. I don't even know anything about that. I know that, I don't know what he got in trouble for. I do know that he was, what's it called? Flagged or whatever, and was suspended. But it's a new day. It's a new day. It's a new opportunity. He did his time. He came back. He's in the sport still. So I'm not gonna let that affect my training and my thinking whatsoever. I'm gonna stick to what's in between here, what I can control, and stay chopping.
Many fighters, they're coming out and exposing the loopholes, and they're stating their concerns about USADA, right? What is your thoughts on the job that they're doing?
You know, it's I don't know, man. People say if you're not cheating, you're not trying. You know, a cheater said that. You know what I mean? Like a straight up cheater came up with that, and then everybody's like, "Oh, that sounds really good." Yeah, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Like that's just it makes no sense to me. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. We either participate clean or everybody gets to cheat. You know what I mean? And we're in a sport that's supposed to be clean. And there's loopholes, and there's always going to be loopholes. And USADA, I think they truly are doing their best. It's kind of like they give me anxiety, you know, some of their emails they send you, and they're like, you know, update your whereabouts and all. It's like, oh my gosh, I thought like I was in trouble for something, you know. And it's kind of like when a police officer gets behind you and you kind of freak out even though you're not doing anything, you know. It's like that for me. So it keeps me just focused when I'm thinking like, okay, these guys could be cheating this way, and then I just tell myself like, no, they're not cheating because USADA's here, you know, and then it's no worry. So if they are doing it and they're finding loopholes and stuff like that, whatever, man, let them let them be cheaters. Let them live with that. You know, I've never cheated in my life when it comes to mixed martial arts and drugs and stuff like that. I mean, I cheated on a couple tests back in high school. I ain't gonna lie, but no, it's let cheaters be cheaters, man. It's something that I don't even think about because my mind is so focused on working and what I got to do to prepare to win, physically and emotionally and everything like that. That there's no time to cheat. You know, there's no time to find an easy way out. That's somebody else's job. You know, let them do that.
Your opponent, what are your thoughts on his game? Is there any area you notice that he shines most at?
Hey, he's well rounded. That's his game. You know what I mean? He's a bigger guy. He fought at 135 for the Ultimate Fighter, and he dropped down to 125, and he's done tremendous. He's got great wins in all of his UFC bouts. So yeah, he just shines in all aspects, being a well-rounded mixed martial artist, and I think that's just the generation coming up. You know, he's a 26-year-old fighter, a guy, you know, and that's just the new generation. There's back in the day, it was a wrestler, grappler, whatever, you know, it was one art, and now it's everything, you know. So nothing's gonna shock me that he does. He's never fought a guy like me that has been there, had this many fights, and can grind the way that I do. So that's what I feel like makes this a very interesting matchup.
You mentioned that he's a big guy. He's a big 125er. You see a lot of guys cutting weight continuously. Do you think eventually that catches up to you, even though it's beneficial in the beginning and it makes you look great and you are strong, but after a few, does it diminish?
Well, it depends on if you're a cheater or not, I guess. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. I've been cutting weight pretty much since the 6th grade when I started wrestling, and so I know my body very well. I've never missed weight through any wrestling competition, any fights. You know, I've always been on weight, and I've gotten better at cutting weight. You know what I mean? As I've gotten older, people are like, "Oh, you might have to go up." Well, no, I know my body. I don't get as big after fights and stuff like that. I take care of myself year round, and so for me, I don't see it affecting me long term. But for somebody like him, I mean, I don't know his lifestyle, you know, so it's hard to judge. Some of these guys, they get better at it, and some guys, you know, they get older, and it is harder for them, and it does take a bit of a toll on them. But that all goes back to how they're training and how they're living inside and outside of training camps.
He has beaten some big names in the division. Do you think he poses a bigger threat than your last opponent, Pantoja?
In different areas, yeah. Pantoja was he's a bit of a wild child. You know what I mean? He goes out there, he throws some crazy punches, and he's a grinder as well. And he held me down for, quite a bit of time. So he has that great grappling mentality mixed with like a little wildness with him. I think Matheus is a little bit sharper in the sense of danger. You know what I mean? His striking is a little bit sharper. That makes him dangerous in that aspect, where I think he's going to be cool, calm, and collective and composed, as opposed to a little more crazy and wild as Pantoja was. So those are the differences that I see, and the different threats that are there. But Matheus, like I said, he's well-rounded fighter. He's cool, calm, collective, and we'll see how that treats him January or July 28th.
What type of fight are you expecting out of yourself at UFC Calgary against Nicolau?
The best fight of my life, man. Every time I have very high expectations, especially, I'm on a 2-fight win streak. A win over this fighter would put me with a 15-second knockout, and then I would beat 2 fighters that are undefeated in the UFC, and Pantoja and in Matheus. So that's a 3-fight win streak, and I expect a title contending fight after this. You know what I mean? So I'm expecting to go out there and put on a performance that deserves that kind of shot and that kind of recognition. I've been here, I've done that. I've grinded through a ton of fights. I've beaten a lot of the big names. I've had split decision losses to a lot of the big names. People, it seems like when I beat them, or when I lose to them, they go on and they get title shots. So I want to be that guy now, and I know that I need to put on the performance and expect that out of myself, and rise to the occasion of a championship level fight. So I plan on moving and grooving to my highest level out there, and putting him away in one way or another. Whichever opportunity prevails itself, I'm going to jump on it and take it, whether it's knockout, submission. I'll kill him. I'll kill him in there. The referee lets me, you know what I mean, to finish it before 15 minutes. So that's always been my style, to go in there and get after it. And that's what I expect out of myself.
Fighters always say that I'm in the best shape of my life. Do you really feel that you're at the prime of your career right now? With all the experience that you've had, with the competition that you've faced, is it really like your time?
That's a very good question. It's hard to say. It's my girlfriend and I were just talking about that yesterday, where we watched the fights last night, and we saw some fighters lose, and they say, I'm going to come back better than ever. It's like, well, weren't you supposed to be better than ever on this fight? And so I feel like, to answer that question, you never know until years down the road, when you say, that fight I was in the best shape of my life. Because each one you feel like you are, because you switch things up, you do things differently. And in that moment, you feel like, this is the best shape of my life. When really the last camp, what you were doing was the best shape of your life. Or 2 camps from now, you put all of that together, and that's the best shape of your life. So I feel that I'm in the best shape that I can possibly be in this moment.
All right, last question. I want to get your predictions. A few weeks after your fight, the title fight is happening between Demetrious Johnson and Henry Cejudo. Who do you think would win, or who do you think should win, to kind of mix up the division? What do you think? What do you think is going to happen?
Oh, man. It's great. I follow both of them on social media. And it seems that Henry has really, really been putting in the work for this camp. And I know that he has what it takes to beat Demetrious Johnson, but Demetrious Johnson ultimately moves on a different frequency than anybody else. And that's what truly makes him one of a kind mixed martial artist, especially the team that he has, that he's been with from the very beginning. They also operate on a completely different frequency than anybody else. So the beautiful thing about fighting is We get to put these two gentlemen into a cage, into an octagon, and let them have it and find out, you know, who does have it on that specific night. So I feel like they both have the qualities and what it takes to win. But I am ultimately going to go with Demetrious Johnson because I want to be the one to mix up the division. And I feel like I'm going to be the one, you know, I have that feeling. So I'm going with DJ on this fight. I feel like he's going to bring out the win.
That's a great answer because you are in the division. And if you're going to knock off somebody, it should be the greatest of all time, right?
Absolutely. I got to chop them down one person at a time. And I feel like get past this fight impressively, take out a top 5 opponent, and I get my chance. I get my shot. Everybody else has had theirs. I feel like it might have been too soon, and my timing is perfect. So, and I believe that.
All right, July 28th, UFC on Fox 30 in Calgary. Dustin Ortiz will face Matheus Nicolau. Thank you for your time, Dustin, and we'll speak soon again, man.
Absolutely. Hey, you have a good one and stay chopping.